bringing us the business buzz this week.
Buzz, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, now the part I've been waiting on all week. Every week I come on here and I give you a market update. I pull those stats either super early in the morning or super late at night after a long day of work. And every time I need the financing side of it, I call this gentleman that I'm about to introduce. I find out from him what people can actually afford right now and what's happening with the money, what's happening with interest rates, and whether it be early in the morning or super late at night, Grafton always
Late at night,
answers.
most of the time.
He always responds and he's always getting me that information. So today he is sitting here with me. I am overjoyed about this. I've been applying all the pressure and buying all the drinks. It is a role reversal because in the beginning he fought hard to gain my trust in business, and now here we are sitting opposite sides. Grafton, try talking. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
No. Are you muted?
Nothing.
He's not. I can
Okay.
hear
Okay.
him. Yeah.
Is it just me that can't hear him?
Just
I think
Uh-oh.
so, yeah.
It might be a little challenging for me to interview him if I can't hear
Yeah.
him. What can I do?
Just go ahead and
Let's
refresh
see.
and come back.
Okay.
And
Hold
I'll-
on one second.
And I'll say my part while that's going on. I don't know if she had finished introducing you. Can you hear now?
Grafton, try talking.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Okay, cool.
There we
Let
go.
me do the
All
last
right.
bit of introduction, then Phil, and we'll let you take it away. So this is Grafton Sizemore, everyone. Although, fair warning, he's got a couple nicknames. What most people call him is G, okay? However, that didn't work for me. I had to have my own name, and I'm going to embarrass him by saying I call him, when most of my team calls him Grafty, okay? So Grafty, we are so excited to have you on here. He is a loan officer at Motto Market, but even more, he's the guy I call when I need someone with integrity and high character, someone that I know will always do right by my clients, will give us real numbers. He's incredibly knowledgeable about both the housing market, also the financing side of the market and what needs to happen. I trust him on a daily with people that I love. And we are so excited because starting soon, he's got his own segment on this show called Money Moves with G. I tried to get Money Moves with Grafty, but we're fine. Money Moves with G. So we are so excited to have you, Grafton.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Phil, I'm going to let you take it away for a minute.
All right. I wanted to say something before G gets grilled because some of you have noticed we've been shuffling the deck, and I'd rather you hear it from me than guess at it. Hardin Local's growing. We've added the Bourbon Local show, and there's other shows I want to add throughout the week, and there's not a lot of time. The only way that this works is if I get out of this chair, go build them. So actually, Scott's going to be helping me. He already has been for the longest of all the hosts. So Scott and I are moving mostly behind camera starting next week. Nobody got fired. Nobody's mad. Nobody's leaving our Hardin Local family. I'll still be here every week. Scott will probably be too. As well as he just won't maybe see us as much. Although I'm going to try to get Scott to do that icebreaker question. I'll be honest with you, it does feel a little weird. This thing has been my baby for a long time, but I knew a year ago this was the goal, and you don't get to say you built something that lasts if it only works. So the seat next to Rachel opened up, and we went and got the right guy. Glad to have
I appreciate it.
Scott. I don't know if you'd like to say anything.
Yeah, so I remember me trying to push you to do this several times, and you were like, I don't know. And I was doing some things locally somewhere else, and without me getting emotional or anything, I've always followed you for quite some time, even before Hardin Local. And you're a tech guy just like I am. And some tech guys look at the other tech guy and be like, man, that's my competition or whatever. But it was like, for me, because I am like water. I can move and maneuver and adjust with any tech or any person. And with you, Phil, and for the audience that may not know this, is, there's, other than Bourbon Local, there's been some AI things that we've discussed. And so this is just going to help me and Phil not just take Hardin Local or Bourbon Local, but everything else that will kind of add to it, more local, and even scale it out to more non-local things. So I'm going to be here. I'm not going nowhere. You can't get rid of me.
I'm gonna be honest, we wouldn't let either of you two go anywhere. Obviously, we know you're gonna be behind the scenes, and so we're gonna see less of your faces, but it does not at all um, decrease the value that you all have brought and will continue to bring to Hardin Local. So I want to say thank you to you both. And obviously, the opportunity that you have created here for those of us that are going to be continuing to be on screen in front of and in front of our audience every single week. We are so thankful for both of you all for paving this roadway and then continuing to work behind the scenes to ensure that this is a success. And when Phil was talking to me about this months ago, right, Phil?
Mhm.
There was one person that I wanted right by my side. And of course, like I had mentioned previously, that is Grafton Sizemore. So most people in Hardin County have met the loan officer exactly maybe once or twice, right? And they have met their loan officer at the single most stressful moment of their life. So before we talk about money at all, who are you and when you're not doing this? I'd like to know a little bit more about Crafty. I know, but tell everybody else.
That's tough. I think, in our industry that becomes your life, right? Like it is who you are. It becomes part of who you are. But no, so I've been in Hardin County. I can't say born and raised because I wasn't born here, but I've been here since I was about 6 years old. My family relocated to the area. My mom got a job. Both of my parents were teachers, and my mom got a job at, believe it or not, West Point Independent, up in the northern end of the county. Went there for a couple of years and then went into Hardin County schools. And I was going to ask here in the football segment, but I didn't want to say, are we allowed to be biased on here? Am I allowed to be biased towards North Hardin, or is that a not okay type of thing? No, but I did. I went to school at North Hardin, graduated from there. And I'll definitely be biased about this one. I made the mistake and went to U of L my first year, and she knew it was coming. I made that mistake, and then I wised up as I got older. I grew, and I transferred to UK. Went to UK for business school. Went there, graduated with my marketing and management degree. Went on to do an MBA in finance, and that brought me back here. And one of the things about doing that was I went to Lexington. I love Lexington. It's like a second home to me, but my heart was always was back here in Hardin County and in E-Town. So I moved back here, started working for a local bank. The rest was history, and kind of got in the finance side of things, and ended up at Model Mortgage about 6 years ago.
We all have flaws in our character, so we're going to forget that one. So talk to me a little bit more about the evolution of going into mortgages, right? Was there ever a point in your career that you were like, you know what, I want to do? I want to do mortgages. What was the
Absolutely not.
evolution to that point of your career?
I I did not think I was going to do mortgages. To be honest, I thought throughout school I was going to do something in sports marketing. I'm a huge sports guy. I love football, basketball. If there's sports on TV, I'm watching it. Right? Golf. I'm a huge golfer, so that's what you'll catch me doing on the weekends and in my free time. Honestly, in general, it came back to wanting to come here. I'd worked at a local bank as a teller during my time in college when I come back on breaks, vacations, things like that. When people would take vacations here, Christmas time and all that, that's when I would come back and work. So at one point, I was like, you know what, this is not a terrible route to go because there's ways you can help people in the industry that we're in. So that's what I went to. I went back to banking, and I had a stepdad who was a mortgage loan officer. He told me my entire life growing up, do not be a loan officer. Don't do it. And so, like I normally do, I didn't listen to my parents, and I became a loan officer. So no, it was just a weird way that it happened. It was during COVID. It was a huge leap of faith to go into the loan side of things. So I used to do business banking. I would work with local businesses in the area, get business accounts set up, credit card machines. I set up so many credit card machines in this area. When I go in and look at them, I look to see, was that one that I set up? Was that one that I worked with? But um, it got a little monotonous at that point for me, and I had a contact who I met through a referral group, who's the owner of Mono Mortgage, Tracy Holtzclaw, and she kind of reached out. We had some conversations, and she reached out. We both reached out through some mutual friends. I kind of knew that I wanted to make a change. She was looking for somebody because she was just opening up Motto in the area. She had been with other companies in the area, and she just kind of sat me down and told me how rewarding of a career this could really be. And so I thought about it for a little while, talked to my family, And at that time, my stepdad came out and said, "You know what? It's a really good career. I've told you my whole life not to do it, but it's made him into the man that he was, and it was very rewarding for him." So I took the leap, and I'm glad I did because I'd never go back the other route. I'm glad I'm where I'm at.
Well, I certainly am too. So I want to tap into a little bit about your why. And the reason I want to hear your why and I want to share that with our audience is to give a little perspective. Anybody that supports me in my world, they have to be able to communicate round the clock, right? And so when I first met you and we first started working together, I said, "You're going to answer my clients' calls and my calls any hour of the day." And you said, "Absolutely." Someone who has to match my work ethic, right? Someone who is going to work just as hard as I do. And I have to say, having watched you over the last several years of our friendship, you are an incredibly hard worker, someone with character and integrity, and you have extremely high character and integrity. There have been times where you have passed on the opportunity to make money because it wasn't in the best interest of the client. Okay. So I could go on, but I want to know why. Why are you still doing this 6 years in when you could be doing anything? What is it that wakes you up every day and drives you and motivates you?
Yeah, for sure. This business can be hard. I mean, I think you know that. You see it every day. It can be really, really stressful. You've got people's lives in your hands, and people don't think about it. But there are nights that I wake up at night wondering if a client that we're working with has switched jobs or hasn't spent all the money in their bank account or whatever it is. And that's because you live in a smaller town and smaller community, and you get so many people that you work with that are just trying to live the American dream. So I tell people all the time, I think we get really stuck in today's society, trying to compare ourselves to where other people are at. And I thought for the longest time, even when I was a banker, I didn't own my own house. I live with my brother, and I used to hate to tell people that because I felt so behind. I saw other friends buying houses. I saw my brother buy a house, and I always thought to myself, when's it going to be my chance? When's it going to be my turn? And I didn't buy my first house until I was 32. And I did it as a loan officer. It's kind of weird to say, but I was doing home loans before I owned my own house. And people think that's weird to hear sometimes, but that's my why, because there are more me's out there than there are some of my friends. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but some people are able to just get going a little earlier in life. And then there's people out there who work hard every day to get to the dream that they want to have. I'll never forget my one of my first loans that I did. It was a younger couple. Guy worked in construction, and I mean, he was working 80, 90 hours a week, consistent, no debt, great credit score, just an awesome, awesome person in general as well. Not that those things make you or don't make you an awesome person, but just a really good guy. He never thought he would own a house. We went through that entire process and taking that photo with them at the end because they never thought they would get there. And it wasn't anything special. It was a double wide on 3 acres. And he stood there with his daughter, and she held the picture that we got them of her house and had the biggest smile on her face. And every time I have a stressful day at work, that's the moment that I think about because we're here to help people, and it's not just about making money. We all work to make money, right? That's all part of what we do. It's all part of why we choose our careers, but you want to be happy doing it. And when I see those smiles on people's faces, like the smile I had when I was 32, getting to the place I wanted to be, it makes every bit of it worth it. That's my why.
That's awesome. And I would attest to that. So, okay, so I'm going to be transitioning a bit into some more work related things. And of course, we are a county that is infused by Fort Knox, right? So,
Yeah.
military friendly community. We love our military neighbors. So, kind of give it to me straight. What's the single most common thing people around here get wrong about VA loan?
Oh, the most common thing. I've got to go with people who think that they don't even have the VA eligibility, right? We live in a town that lots of people have served at one point or another, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they've retired from the military. There's a point system in the military. You could get really in the weeds with that, but just to say that there's guys out there, ladies out there who have served for 4 years and they have VA eligibility and don't even realize it. And VA is a great home loan for anyone to use who is eligible for it. It has some of the lowest interest rates that there are, and I don't want to go into interest rates today or anything like that. But they also offer some really, really, really good programs not to have any mortgage insurance. And on top of that, it's just a really awesome way for our vets to buy their first home and get into investment properties. That's you said one, but I'm going to two. That's the second thing. A lot of military personnel, they come and go, right? They'll be here for 3, 4 years and they PCS out somewhere else. And a lot of vets and active duty military have started to realize you don't just have to buy a 1 unit household. You can buy up to a fourplex, live in one side because it's your primary residence, and then you can use the other 3 units to rent out to others. And then when you PCS off to, let's say, Texas, you can keep that house here with your primary interest rate and rent it out for the rest of your life. And it becomes a way to start building investment. So there's a lot of things people think that you can't do with VA loans that you absolutely can, the legal and the correct way.
So you're saying that there's guys.
That's awesome, Grafton. I appreciate that. So Phil, you had a question for him.
Yeah, I did. I had muted myself. I was trying to ask. So there are guys, there may be guys watching now, and I guarantee you there'll be quite a few people watching the recordings later that may be in their 50s, 60s, or even younger who have this whole time and never used it once when they had. What makes you eligible?
Yeah, for sure. So age is nothing but a number in real estate and loans, right? That's the easiest way to put it is it doesn't matter if you're 60. I have veterans who come in at 60, 65 years old who have never used their eligibility, never even realized they had eligibility, and they come in and they buy their first homes, right? And those are, again, things that you can pass on to your heirs once, you're no longer here. We don't discriminate based off of age or anything like that. The VA definitely doesn't discriminate based off of any of those things. So there's a lot of retirees that are here that have never used it. They're like, well, I just thought, and Rachel can speak to this too, I just thought it was harder for people to accept VA loans. That may be true in an area where you're not in VA country or military country, right? Probably 50% of the loans I do have VA next to it, right? It's a lot of what we do, and most agents in the area will tell you they're not scared to accept a VA offer like maybe you would see in other areas where military community is not as prominent.
So let's move on to what your Money Moves with G is going to be like. Starting, I think it's next week. You've got your own segment on this show, and that's paired with you being like co-host with Rachel. But you're calling it Money Moves with G. Tell everybody what that is.
Yeah, for sure. So, Phil, when we kind of talked about what that segment would entail, I'm going to be the first one to say it. Rachel gets to do the fun part. She gets to, talk with clients about what their needs are, what kind of house they want. We're the person nobody wants to talk to. Nobody wants to talk about getting a loan and taking out debt, right? So it can be kind of boring. So when we were talking, I wanted to make sure that the segment we did was not just focused on mortgages. It was something that was open to more broad general terms and finance. So it's going to be a segment that has to do with investing. That can be real estate investing. That can be investing in stock markets. It could be anything that you can think of when it comes to finance. We'll have tons of different topics that we're talking about on here. We can talk about tax time when it comes to CPAs. Now, I'm a licensed mortgage loan officer, not a CPA, not a financial advisor, and we'll have all those disclaimers out there. But that doesn't mean that we don't have contacts and people that we talk to who give us some really good advice that we can talk about on here, and therefore, give all of our followers and our viewers a place to start when it comes to finance and where to put your money, how to grow your wealth, and just how, in general, to start making finance easier.
What do you want somebody to walk away with?
That you don't have to be rich to start investing, that you don't have to be rich to learn how to, budget, how to use your money properly. It doesn't matter if you make $7 an hour. It doesn't matter if you make $100 an hour. This segment will be for everybody who can walk away with something that maybe they didn't know, or an angle they hadn't thought about when it comes to finance, that they can say, you know what, I want to do a little bit more research about that. I want to find out a little bit more about that. And it may be the mortgage side. It may be, I didn't know that existed. I didn't know that was an option for me. I want people to realize there are options out there for everybody when it comes to finance, and that no matter where you're at, you've got to start somewhere and you've got a chance to grow.
All right.
Okay, Grafton, I'm going to wrap this up with some rapid fire questions, okay?
Oh, no. Okay, let's go.
Coffee order.
I don't drink coffee. It's going to be an Alani every single day.
Okay, best place to eat in Hardin County that people sleep on.
I got to go with El Molino. My guy Francisco out there in Radcliff. It's the best Mexican restaurant in Hardin County.
You've never invited me there. You need to take me immediately. I love Mexico.
All right, done.
And last one, Do you dance?
Not in public.
Listen, you're about
Not
to,
in public
because
without
we
drinks. There we
end
go. Oh man.
your
Here we
every
go.
segment with dancing, because we're going to have an intro and an outro for you. So you better get really used to, I mean, really, it's just the upper half. You just have to be able to do arm dances, okay?
I've seen it on here. I thought I might get away with it, but you know.
Oh, don't worry.
No.
Your intro is
You're
coming.
definitely
It is
getting
loaded.
one. Now you can help me
All
make
right,
the
all right.
jingle, or you can leave it for me.
Either that, you can help, or you just get stuck with whatever Phil decides. So,
Fair.
well, Grafty, welcome. So excited to have you. We will
I appreciate
see
it. Glad to
you-
be a part of it.
Yep. We'll see you back here soon with Money Moves.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. We are now